Here's a really short course on trade secrets and confidentiality. So, what percentage do you think of small businesses, let's say, actually have confidential information that they need to protect? They have trade secrets. I think it's like 100%. Here's why. Pretty much all my clients, all the small businesses I know well, have some precious cookie-making secret. They have some way they run the business. Maybe it's an algorithm, maybe it's just a process, maybe it's the way they handle information or clients, but they have something they're doing that is unique to them. It's their secret sauce. And every business has customers. If nothing else, if no other trade secrets, the law recognizes the information you have about your customers and potential customers, who they are, how you contact them, how much you charge them, how much they pay, what they need, what they're interested in. All that stuff you keep in some form, maybe in your CRM, that is by law a trade secret. It is confidential information to your business, and it's very valuable to your business. It's the kind of thing you don't want your competitors to know, and you don't want, let's say, an employee who leaves your company to take with them. That's where trade secret protection and confidentiality agreements come into play. It's a simple way to protect intellectual property. It's a very enforceable way to protect intellectual property. And to me, most important, if you put those agreements in place, it's a way for the people you deal with to know what you think is confidential and what you think is important. You need to do it. If you doubt me, do I really have confidential information? Think of it this way. When I drive down the street, I can see your house. I know what color it is. I know your address. That's not a secret. I could even go on Zillow and find out all about how many bedrooms your house has and what it sold for on the market last time and things like that, right? That's not confidential. But I can't tell from the street or even from Zillow what's in your closet. What shampoo do you use? What's your family recipe when you make that special dinner? That stuff is secret. It's inside your house. I can't get to it. Your business has information like that, and it's worth isolating and taking steps to protect it. And that's something that at Princeton Business Law, we take care of for clients. I'm often told by clients, I've moved to step up. I'm dealing with a potential buyer for my business. I'm dealing with a private equity investor, maybe even a venture capital firm. We've started to talk about doing this deal. I brought up confidentiality agreements and they said, oh, we never sign NDAs. They're not worth anything. And we think it's a matter of trust and we just can't be bothered with an NDA. Here's my answer to that. Bull. This isn't about trust. It's about the way the law works. If somebody tells you we don't sign NDAs, that means we don't trust each other. You need to explain to them or have your lawyer explain to them. That is not how the law works. Here's what I mean, and this is a critical thing about protecting confidential information and trade secrets. A piece of information is only confidential under the law as long as you always treat it as confidential information. That is, no one gets to know that information unless they're in a confidential relationship with you. Some people are automatically in a confidential relationship with you. Under certain cases, employees, your advisors, other investors, things like that. But when you deal with the outside world, that information is confidential only as long as it's exchanged under a confidentiality agreement. If one time you tell someone that confidential information, let's say who your 10 top customers are, if you exchange that outside of a confidentiality agreement, outside of a confidential relationship, it is by legal definition no longer confidential to anyone. If someone else reveals that information and you try to enforce confidentiality against that person, their defense will be, hey, you already gave this away. You told it to someone without a confidentiality agreement in place. So when that deal maker comes to you and says, we don't sign NDAs, you need to say, then you can't make a deal with me. Or you're actually trying to put one over on me because I know that to protect my confidential information, we've got to have that NDA in place. I trust you. This isn't about trust. This is about me protecting the asset that you, the deal maker, are interested in. And if you want me to save that asset for us both to make money off of it later, we need to be signing NDAs. Intellectual property is a complex world and it's completely interwoven in all kinds of business agreements and contracts. For help with that, I hope you'll call us at Princeton Business Law, where we are counsel for growing businesses. For Princeton Business Law, here on Main Street, I'm Jason Meyer.